Hey everyone, David here. So the first one made enough money to warrant a sequel, so now we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Not to be confused with the video game of the same name. I knew I read that subtitle somewhere associated with the Ninja Turtles property, and I do believe it was a video game. Not to be confused with that. There's something else entirely, even though it really wouldn't have made that much of a difference because we would probably be better off playing this as a video game rather than a movie because the plot of Out of the Shadows, Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, so to speak, is pretty much a spoiler onto itself because they threw everything up in this motherfucker. Everything that people know from the lore of the Ninja Turtles within the comics and within the, especially the cartoon. They tried to throw in here to appeal to the masses, even though we still end up with a film that caters more to the kids that are discovering the Ninja Turtles in this generation, more so than the people that grew up with it. And basically, in this movie, without giving too much away, we got Shredder returning to wreak havoc, and he recruits Rocksteady and Bebop and transforming them into their animal selves with the help of the Dr. Baxter Stockman, played by Tyler Perry. Turns them into animals, and he has a plan to destroy the turtles. And there's this other element involved that was kind of in the trailers, but it's because he wasn't in all of them, I'm not going to mention what that other element is. But just shit goes down, the Ninja Turtles are out there to stop him, and amongst the way, they have to discover what it's like to work as a team, even though they... I could almost swear that was the thing that they needed to do in the first one. But anyways, we got another film, another movie, another blockbuster movie, and the best way that I can put it is that this felt like I was watching a slightly under 2 hour long cartoon. And trust me when I say that this is a cartoon flat out. But let's go ahead and look at another movie that did take an awful lot of things and try to fit them a little bit too much, but it just didn't work. Batman vs Superman. They tried to bring in Lex Luthor. They tried to bring in the whole Batman vs Superman dynamic. They tried to bring in Doomsday. They tried to bring in Wonder Woman and hinting at the Justice League. And just all these ideas just felt Frankenstein together. I'm not going to deny that Teenage Mutant Out of the Shadows does the same thing with all the different characters that it's bringing from its lore. But two things are happening. One, I don't care enough about this property as much as I do with DC characters or Marvel characters or hell, even Transformers. So to me, it didn't affect me as personally as it will other people. The second thing is that unlike Batman vs Superman, which is super dark and gritty and supposed to be realistic and broody and just emo as hell, Out of the Shadows fully embraces its cartoon nature to the point where there's actually moments in it that are actually rather enjoyable. Some of the CG, as blatantly CG as it is, it's enjoyable to watch, and as ridiculous and as over the top as it is, you can kind of tell that that's what they're going for, and therefore you watch and you're just like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna sit back. It looks like you guys are having fun. I'll go along with it. I mean, if you are barreling down a highway in a garbage truck that literally sprouts arms with nunchucks, okay, fine, I'll take it. I don't give a shit at this point. And luckily, one of the things that does work is our team, our Ninja Turtles, Mikey, Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael. They work because even though they feel like cartoons, especially Michelangelo, there's something kind of charming about them that is fun to watch. I really cannot put in other latent terms besides the fact that they are fun to watch and they're fun to see go around in these action sequences, whether it be barreling down that river or jumping all over the city and doing their thing. All of the personalities of the turtles are still intact, so for the most part that's good, except for maybe Raphael. You know, he's still being a little bit dickish. But at least they managed to get that right over the fact that Splinter almost has nothing to do in this movie. The thing that you see in the trailer of him telling Leonardo to be the leader of the team is almost the extent of his actual screen time within this movie. It's to the point where I almost think that they could have just easily cut that out and spared Tony Shalhoub having to drive all the way to the recording studio to record his lines of dialogue and get his easy paycheck. Almost as needless as Michael Bay blowing his own dick in this movie. Trust me, when you see it, you're gonna roll your eyes. It's kind of funny that out of all the things in this movie, the stuff that is very, very CG is actually what works because of the fact that the logic and the physics and just the absolute lunacy that happens in this movie is so cartoonish to the point of being kind of enjoyable in that sort of way. And the reason why I say it is because the other dynamic that works in this movie is in fact Rocksteady and Bebop after they get transformed into that rhinoceros and warhog that they are. And I don't know what it is, but I felt a chemistry between these two that every time they said my man, I bought it. And they actually made me chuckle a couple of times. And seeing the two of them go up against the Ninja Turtles, I wanted to see more of that, but sadly they don't take full advantage of that. Because we have to cut back to our humans, who are unmistakably the weakest part of this entire movie. I mean, I'm trying to think of a human that may have passed the test when it came to this movie, and quite honestly, I think out of all of them was probably Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry as Baxter Stockman. There's a couple of times where, again, much like the CG characters, he's so animated with how much he nerds out over the scientific stuff that he is involved with, and his laugh that actually got myself to laugh a couple of times throughout the movie. He kind of won me over the rest of the human cast because everybody is doing the same thing. Megan Fox is back again to prove that she's once again a bad actress who manages to get work with her body. I mean, I'm sorry, that sounds like a very terrible thing to say, but when you get to that scene early on that you see snippets of in the trailer where she's walking around that skimpy outfit, you know for a fact, at this point, she should know what she's doing. Come on. And then Will Arnett is back as his character from the first movie, and he's almost needless. Although I will say, there's a scene with him involving a camera that did get me to chuckle just a tiny bit. I'm like, okay, I'll give you that one. It has a little payoff that I kind of enjoyed. But everybody else is just there looking at tennis balls. And, oh my god. Okay, like I said at the beginning of the review, I'm not a huge Ninja Turtle fan, so I'm not going to lose my shit over this, but I can definitely understand people furious over how they did Casey Jones in this movie. Stephen Amell. Oh my god, dude, I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe you consulted with Mark Wahlberg after working on Transformers or what, but he reminded me an awful lot of Chris O'Donnell from Batman and Robin. And if that's not enough to scare you away, if you're a humongous fan of not only Ninja Turtles but also Casey Jones's involvement with the Ninja Turtles from the show, from the animated cartoon, from the comic books, you're gonna get so pissed off when you see him in this movie. Oh my god. And then our villains, besides Rocksteady and Bebop, who are the only exception, Shredder, man, this is the most boring I've seen Shredder. I've got to be honest, the Shredder from the first movie, that was kind of like a non-Shredder because originally it was going to be William Fichtner and then it was going to be that Asian guy that was shot in the very obvious reshoots. He actually did something. The Shredder in this movie, oh my god, sure, you could slap a face to him, but that doesn't make him any cooler. Oh my god. And what the shaft that he gets by the end of this movie, and along with the other villain that is in this movie that I'm not going to mention, even though you probably have an idea of who it is, also has a cumulative of like, what, 5 minutes? And that's it? He's gone? Anyways, it's needless to say, there's some things about the movie that worked when it came to embracing that cartoonish nature, but then there's other things that just didn't. And for the most part, the human element was in fact what just did not work. But besides that, there is some enjoyability to the movie. I'll just say that that enjoyability, it can be fully accessed from the comfort of your own home when the movie comes out on DVD and or Blu-ray. So for that, I give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows a high 6 out of 10. It's an okay movie, but it's one of those that is simply just there to provide the kids for some enjoyment, because I feel like the kids are just going to eat up. They're going to want to buy the toys, especially after the climax that shows off something that you can tell a lot of kids are going to be like, I want that for my birthday. Ah. And that's purely put there just for that. Trust me, they know what they're doing. Besides that, though, it's the type of movie that you do, in fact, Redbox or Netflix when it comes to that service near you. Besides that, though, you're not really missing much. So anyways, if you have seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, please let me know in the comments what you thought of the film. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share this video, subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next review. Take care.